Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Yes, you did hear the announcer correctly. Free advice here on New Life Live this hour. Welcome.
You might get what you pay for.
Now. Here to answer your questions today, we've got clinical psychologist Dr. Jill Hubbard and licensed marriage and family therapist JJ West. How you guys doing?
Doing okay.
Great. Glad to be on.
Yay. Yep. And Jill, what's on your mind to begin our program today?
Well, last time the three of us were on together, we had an interesting call at the end. And that was a call from Lisa, right?
Okay.
And about a wedding. So I was thinking a little bit about mental sanity, peace of mind, and powerlessness. And how certainly for our mental sanity, there are some basics that we need to do, some basic self-care that help us, not only survive, but thrive. But I wanted to focus a little bit more on the powerlessness of situations that we encounter in life that really trip us up. And so I think it's important that we always pause and reflect, and that we connect the dots in life to help us work through things. And so to ask ourselves, what's in my control and what is not in my control? That's a basic question that's important, because I think we get that mixed up. And JJ, at the end last time, you were talking about how we want almost it to be our fault, because that gives us a sense of control, because then maybe we could do it differently, right?
Correct.
And sometimes we can't do it differently, especially if something has been perpetrated on us. So then another question is, what's mine, my part, what's mine, and what's God's? A lot of time it's like, we do have our part, but God also has his part. And we keep, or maybe the rest of you don't, but I keep taking that back every day, right? And then it's like, okay, God, no, this is your part. I'll do my part. So we have to, focus on that. And we have to decipher those things. And sometimes in the heat of the moment, it's really hard because people get triggered. Yesterday, I was supposed to meet my son for lunch, and he wasn't showing up. And I'm like, okay, what's going on here? So when I finally hear from him, he tells me this story, that he was in his car with the windows down. He was about to leave, and this couple next to him start fighting. And it escalates so much. This guy is screaming at her. Like, he was scared, and he was scared for her. And then the guy takes off and leaves her on the side of the road. And so my son is there, and he's like, what do I do? Do I help? I'm supposed to go meet my mom. What do I do here? So he does help, and he lets, because the guy took her phone and everything.
Oh, my goodness.
And so my son let her use his phone. And so then he's like trapped, like, okay, how much do I help? I want to be a good Christian, but at the same time, how do I take care of myself in this situation? And so it was really interesting. So finally, there were some others that also helped. And finally he bowed out and was able to come and meet me. But he was really shook up, right?
Yeah,
and so it's like, what's my part? What's God's part? How do I reconcile this? And then it's also, okay, what is the stuff we often ask? When have you felt this way before? Okay, what is the stuff that is unresolved in us that causes us to experience great angst in current situations? And that's important to look at. That's part of the connecting the dots.
Man, oh man. What a story. That's unbelievable. Man. Okay, we've got lots of great calls coming up here on New Life Live. We thank you so much for listening today, and for watching, and for following us on social media. And if you listen to us on a podcast, make sure you rate our podcast. Give us 5 stars. We like that. You can leave a comment, and then that'll get other people engaged, and they'll know about the program as well. We appreciate what you do to support us, praying for us, supporting us financially too. We'll be back with some calls. We've got John, Joe, Joy, Vic, and Anna.
Early on, looking at pornography that went into affairs, massage parlors, strip clubs with buddies. Before you know it, you're ashamed of that.
Every day, men struggle with sexual integrity, impure thoughts, strip clubs, affairs, pornography.
My wife got a phone call, and she asked me who this person was, and man, how do I get myself out of this one?
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
When she said to me, I want you to look at this website named Every Man's Battle, she had me look, and I said, no, this is exactly where I need to be. This is exactly the problems I have, and I'm gonna go.
You don't have to struggle any longer. Get help in Denver, Colorado, June 6th through the 8th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Use the discount code NLL to save $50. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back, and we're going to go right to the phones. New Jersey, WFIL. Here is John. Welcome to New Life Live, John.
How you doing?
Doing well. You're on with Dr. Jill Hubbard and JJ West. How can we help you?
Well, I have a prodigal son at home. He's been doing drugs for a few years now. And he had a heart attack 3 months ago. He smokes meth. And 3 months ago, he has a heart attack. And he was all scared and everything. And so we took him got him to the hospital. And sure enough, he's back at it again. He's doing right what he was left off from.
How old is he, John?
And he's 34 years old. He doesn't work. He's gay. He's into some dark stuff on the internet and all. So anyway, he left at 2 in the morning. I heard my Ring camera. I checked the camera. Sure enough, he's leaving. I went in the bedroom the next day and I checked his room, and on the table was a crack pipe with the water in it, so I know he was using it. And I went to show. This caused a lot of friction between me and my wife. And I showed her it. I said, listen, but she doesn't really want to see it or face it.
Yeah. Is your wife his mom or no?
Oh, yeah. It's been real hard on my marriage and everything. I want to retire, but he's living with us. So I told him he's got to leave after Easter. And I told him the other day, I said, I'm giving you your walking papers. And he said, all right, fine. But when I mentioned about the drugs, I might lose you here. I'm going to a bad spot.
We can hear you.
Okay. When I mentioned about the drugs for him, the crack pipe, he kind of gave me a verbal FU to me. And that was it. I said, look, he's got to go. I can't help him.
Yeah.
He doesn't want my help. He hates my guts, actually.
Oh, well, he hates himself, John.
I know. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
But I always try to push him as a kid to do the right. I have 4 sons, so I trained them with construction, and they're all doing fantastic money-wise, making a living out of it.
Yeah.
He never wanted to do anything I ever showed him.
Yeah.
He resented it. And obviously, the price he's paying now, he doesn't work, and he's lazy.
Yeah. JJ, what are some thoughts going through your mind right now?
Well, twofold. One is, John, it's certainly appropriate for you and your wife to have boundaries with regard to your home. It's your home. You can say whether or not you're going to allow drug use in your home. You can say whether or not you're going to allow an adult child to live with you without working, without paying anything. Like you have full authority and responsibility to have boundaries with regard to your own home. And on the other side of the equation, not contrary to this, but on the other side of the equation is wondering what all this resentment that your son is carrying around, what's it from? Do you have any idea why he's so angry or why he's been so rejecting of you?
I also had a drug addiction back in the day. I understand. I go out and talk to people about how bad drugs is for you, what it does to your body, and ruins it. It opens your spirit up for darkness. I mean, it does, in my opinion, because I know what he's going through. I've been there.
Yeah.
But when I talked to him about it, he called me a hypocrite and all this stuff. I said, look, I don't want you to go where I did in my life, you know?
Yeah.
But he's worse. He's like worse than whatever I've been.
Yeah,
But he
of course,
doesn't want to hear it when I tell him about
a
it.
hypocrite is not someone who had struggled with something. A hypocrite is when I behave a certain way, but I pretend that I don't, and I talk as though I don't behave that way. But honestly, talking about your own past, that's not hypocrisy. That's vulnerability. That's honesty.
I'm trying to, I know what it does to you.
Yeah, John, what led you to get help? And are you in recovery? I mean, do you work a program?
No, I'm good. I found Christ, and I'm doing awesome.
Okay. So what?
How long ago was that?
Yeah.
I've been with God my whole life. I was that sheep that always got lost, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I just got tired of it. I was like, this ain't the life I wanted, and I just said, I asked God to help me get me out of where I'm at, because I live in the city, and I put my house up for sale and sold within a week, and all my luck changed. I really opened up to God, and I prayed out of my heart, not out of my mouth. It came from my heart.
And how long have you been sober, John?
Oh, I'm good. I haven't drank in 10 years.
10 years, all right.
10 years. So you were using when the kids were little.
Yes, I was.
So you were into your adult life. Were you older than he is now?
It's probably the same age where,
Probably
you know,
same
it was
age.
goofy. You know?
Well, I think the boundary that you're setting with him is good. It's really hard, and I'm sure it's hard on his mother, because when someone is using, they're not necessarily making the best, wisest decisions for themselves, or, you know, and just even their pure safety. But to have someone actively using in your home and not really doing much else with his life, it's too cushy for him. And I think certain boundaries of, we love helping you out, but we can't have you using in our home. So we're willing to come alongside you and to help you if you're wanting to get help. But if you're choosing this lifestyle that we know and believe is destructive for you, and no one wants to be this way, you know, it is because of hurts and things, but then it also causes its own problems. It takes on a life of its own. So I think you have to separate that out, like who he is and what his illness, his poor choices are, and tell him that you see that and that you're willing to help him if he wants to help himself, but that you realize you can't do it for him.
Mm-hmm. Should
John,
we send?
You mentioned that there's. I was just going to say, you mentioned that there's conflict between you and your wife over what? Is she saying that we shouldn't kick him out?
She'll stick up for him and kind of like brush it under the table, or whatever you want to say. And me, because I know what it does to your life, and I kind of like, this ain't going to work. Because he went through rehabs already and all kinds of stuff. How he smokes this stuff, it makes him crazy. And I had to run. He called us saying he's involved with the mob and they're going to kill him and all this stuff. And it wasn't even true. So I'm riding over in Jersey, which I ain't allowed to carry guns with me, but I had to do that because I thought he was in big trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Here was something he made up. It wasn't even real.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's what the drugs will
the craziness of the
do
addiction.
to you, right? Distort reality.
Yeah.
I understand the fear that your wife has, but, you know, this is where she's getting in the way of him recovering, right? Mm-hmm. By covering up for him. And this doesn't have to be done in anger or meanness, right? You love him, and you don't want to be the reason why he chooses to use, but you need to let him have to face his own consequences. And so it's her fear and anxiety.
Yeah.
Right. And so, I mean, you've done it through church, it sounds, but that's where groups like Al-Anon can really be of help. Mm-hmm. And there are Al-Anon groups for parents where you can, talk with other parents and see how they handle it. Yeah. Because she needs some support.
We've got life recovery groups, too, that you can find out about
life recovery groups.
newlife.com. We've got a couple of books from our store. I'm trying to determine which one we should send. What are you guys thinking? I mean, you can't read my mind. You don't know which ones I'm thinking about. What would you? Can you guess
Maybe
which book I'm thinking?
the Understanding and Loving a Person with Substance Abuse. Do we have that one
We have
still?
the one, Understanding and Loving a Child Who Smokes Pot. And this is
okay.
above that.
That
but,
is way above that, and
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah. Well, but the principles would be the same.
Okay.
The principles would be
The principles would be the same, even though the drug of choice is different.
Yeah.
The principles for loving someone who is addicted would be the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
All right, John, stay on the phone and we'll send you a copy of that book. And now let's go to Joe, who's listening to us in Hazleton, Pennsylvania on WBYN. Welcome, Joe, to New Life Live.
Thank you. I have a question for the doctor.
Okay. Go ahead. What
and
is
the
it?
question? Yes, I know that about 2 years ago, something like that, I was accused of a sexual offense,
Okay.
and the court sent me to a group therapy.
Okay.
I don't know what really. I come out of there the same way that I go in. My question would be to the doctor is how therapeutic it is that every time a new member comes into the group, I have to repeat what I was accused of. I come out of there extremely depressed and with anxiety. I don't know how therapeutic that is. That's my question.
Jill?
Well, and I think, Joe, any of us could answer this. A lot of times the programs that people are sent to are well-intended, but you bring up a good point. When you have people coming in and out of a group, it does change the dynamics, and it does cause a lot of repetition to happen. And there's probably a different, schools of thought. I think that sometimes when we have to say it out loud, it helps us to own it. It helps us to really feel what it must have been like, perhaps for others, and to really be able to grieve what we have done. I think along with a group like this, being an individual therapy would be important to deal with your own feelings, not just the group process, right? A therapist would be able to come alongside you a little bit more. But I would also tell the people in the group, although it sounds like you're no longer in it, I would tell whoever's leading the group that you feel very depressed, because that is something that should be addressed and shouldn't just be you going off and no one knowing that about this process. But when we have... Go ahead.
Can I
Sure.
interrupt you for a second? I have mentioned that to both of the female therapists,
Yeah.
But, when you don't I didn't have money for a lawyer. I have a friend in Los Angeles that gave me a hand, and so we were supposed to go to trial, but the lawyer said it's not a very good idea, for whatever reason it was. I think that he was just lazy. First of all, I don't have that kind of money. But if I would have had that kind of money, I would have thought, no, we're going to trial. Because nothing happened here. But my point is that I told the therapist every time that I have to say something, I come out of here depressed.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to forget what I was accused of. I was in jail for 90 days. I've never been arrested. Never been arrested. I'm a church-going guy for more than 45 years.
JJ, any thoughts from you?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yeah. Oh, Joe, he was just asking if I could weigh in. And,
Yeah.
Just a couple. Yeah. So a couple of things. One that you have to understand in terms of group therapy is that there's more than one person in the room, right? Obviously. Okay. And so we're looking at the benefit to the group, not just the benefit to the individual. And so the reason why you have that confession over and over when new people come into the group is twofold. One, what Jill talked about, that it's helpful for us to retell our story because it helps us own more of our story. But it also, for the new person, helps them feel comfortable with telling their story. That when I practice my confession, it then opens the door for that person to say, oh, this is a safe place for me to tell my story. Joe, you're in a unique position in that You're saying, look, I didn't do this. I was falsely accused of this. And now I'm having to retell the story of the false accusation over and over. And I don't understand the therapeutic benefit of that. And so I understand that question. But the reason why they're following that policy in terms of retelling the story is to help the group feel comfortable with each other and help each person feel safe to tell their story. That's the actual power of group therapy. You're in a unique situation in that it doesn't work. It's not working for you.
Yeah. Jill?
Well, I think, and I'm wondering if that is true, what Joe is saying is that he didn't do this. And I understand you wanting to forget, but I think this is something you're in the middle of, and that we have to go through and process. And why were you put in a position to be accused of this? I think that's an important thing to look at. And sometimes we are falsely accused, but we had a small part in where we were or what happened.
Yeah, we'll be back on New Life Live.
We've been married 33 years. We attended the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop. Even though we've read books or attended a few other marriage weekends, this was certainly different and a lot more intensive than initially that we thought.
When you come to Intimacy and Marriage, you're going to be immersed into a 3-day process.
Was not really sure exactly what to expect, but the idea of learning to really understand intimacy was intriguing. We had been in the same patterns of struggle over and over again.
If you've thought, I don't think we can ever change, we're just in this rut and we can't get out, the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop can help you get out of the rut.
The Intimacy and Marriage Weekend is July 25th to the 27th in Washington, D.C. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50. 1-800-639-5433.
I would highly recommend it.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
A quick thank you to our Club New Life members. You give a certain amount every month, and we are so grateful for that. Just for you, we've got a special Club New Life Zoom happening next week on the 15th. It's at 7 p.m. Central Time. Do the math for your time zone. And JJ West, who's on the phone with us right now, or not on the phone, but he's with us right now. And you're going to be sharing that day on secure attachments. Give us a preview if you have one.
Oh, you want a preview?
Yes. But wait, I know what that means. He's not prepared yet. He doesn't have
I have to save that for
yes, exactly.
the paying customers.
Good
I've
point.
heard him talk on
Good
that,
point.
and he does a wonderful job.
Okay, so join us, and it's not too late to become a Club New Life member. You can find out all about it at newlife.com or by calling us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And if you're already in Club New Life, again, that date is May 15th. You probably already got the email. I know I did. I've already registered. I'm ready to go for the 15th. So it'll be good to hear from JJ that day. Okay,
That's right.
Back to the phones we go. Here is Vic in El Paso, Texas, who is a first-time listener. Hi there, Vic. How did you find out about the program?
Just listening, coming from Lawton, Oklahoma today, doing my work.
Nice. Well, we appreciate you calling in. How can we help you?
Yeah, so I'm sure you guys have already got the gist of my situation, but yeah, just concerning relationships. I heard the lady calling in, and not too many men calling in regarding infidelity.
Okay.
So my question is, if my wife is still lying about the little thing. I did catch some pictures last year during her birthday. She said she was at work, called to work, and she wasn't at work. And then my oldest daughter got pictures from my youngest daughter with a man at a hookah lounge. So I'm like, what's going on? So my question is, so it's been 5 years plus since she last cheated on me. And I blame myself because I've been gone so much traveling as a military contractor and a federal agent. So I'm struggling with that. And I don't want to anymore.
So how long have you guys been married?
We're going on 20 years in December.
Okay. And how many times do you think she's cheated on you?
Your guess is as good as mine, my friend.
Wow. What do you guys say?
Wow, Vic, I'm so sorry that you're going through this. What a heartbreaking reality to have to live in, and especially the fact that your children, it sounds like maybe they're at adults or close to adult age, that they're aware of it as well. Am I understanding that correctly?
Well, yeah. Well, not the older ones. The youngest one, she had, I guess if you want to call him a boyfriend or whatever, I caught my youngest one day on the phone with him saying how much she loved him. I was like, what in the world? Really? So
how much she loved her boyfriend? I'm confused.
Yeah. So she told my wife, I guess, whatever you want to call him, Gene boyfriend. I love you, Gene.
So your daughter was saying how much she loves the boyfriend of your wife.
Yes.
To the boyfriend.
I thought you were saying your daughter was talking about how much she loves her own boyfriend, and I didn't. Now I'm caught up to speed.
No.
Okay.
So when you're traveling and gone, it sounds like your wife brings people or guys around and exposes
I'm not sure.
Because how...
I've only caught her once.
Okay.
And the second time was her birthday last year when she called me and she said, yeah, I'm at work. And I called her work and she wasn't at work. I wanted to wish her a happy birthday. I said, hey, can I talk to my wife? Like, yeah, Ingrid didn't work today. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to mention her name, but she said, yeah, she's not here. I was like, what? And then my oldest daughter got my youngest daughter's TikTok, and they were at a hookah lounge, and she was talking to a man there at the hookah lounge. Now this is years later. And now she's still lying about the little thing. No, I paid this bill, which wasn't true. I need $300 for this. For what? You know, and it's killing me.
Yeah.
You know, especially the disabled vet. You know, I've got PTSD, anxiety disorder. I went to the Gulf War as a military contractor. I spent six to 10 years going overseas. So I don't blame myself for that, to be honest with you.
Vic,
not you know what I mean? Like, not taking it for granted.
Yeah. JJ, what are your thoughts?
It's important, Vic. Listen, no matter what was going on in the relationship, you didn't cause the affair. That was her sinful response to perhaps some sinful things going on in the relationship. Perhaps she did feel abandoned. Perhaps she didn't feel a deep connection. But an affair is never the fault of the person who was betrayed. It's the fault of the person who's doing the betraying. That's not to say that there wasn't anything broken in the relationship, but it's not your fault. You don't take responsibility for that. But I would have to say that it's important that you're setting some boundaries, some requirements with your wife. And maybe you already have, and maybe when we get back from the break, we can hear if there's been any requirements that you've made of her and what her response was, because you can't just keep hoping that she's going to change without requiring change.
Yeah, so be thinking about that Vic while we are in our break, and then we'll come back to you. And we've also got Joy and Anna that we want to get to, and anyone else who calls in today on New Life Live. Thank you so much for listening today. Thank you for watching us as well. And thank you for telling your friends about us on social media. We do appreciate when we get more people listening and more people calling in to New Life Live.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit its addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. Club New Life changes lives.
I think I go way back to listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then becoming a Club New Life member.
Club New Life is a monthly giving family that helps New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people.
You know, I'm so thankful because you know why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
And you know one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch listening to all this great information and not paying, so my guilt of this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Let's go back to Vic in El Paso, Texas. So did you have time to think of J.J. West's question, Vic? Like what boundaries have you put up and requirements for your wife?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it wasn't necessarily boundaries, if you will, but she filed for divorce. And, I was kind of upset about that. And I'm sorry, I'm right in the middle of getting to work, traveling. But anyway, yeah, so she filed for divorce. I was upset about that. I tore up the paperwork, but after going to treatment, because I just lost my mind, to be honest with you, went to the VA, and wound up saying, you know what, I'll give you the divorce, but we split everything, all the bills, everything that's between us. And she got down on her knees and cried. Now that, I wasn't sure if it was sincere or not, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So, so that's where things are at right now, Vic?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So
with me they are.
Okay, so I mean, I hope you heard what JJ said in terms of her acting out behavior not being your fault. At the same time, there are things in the marriage, and I think it's important to look at, what is your part that you can own. Okay, not taking responsibility for her behavior, because people can respond in a variety of ways. But obviously, the distance creates a lot of loneliness for women. And I want you to think about what she has been telling you over the years, because usually women try to communicate something over and over and over again before they act out. It's usually over a longer time. And then finally they succumb and act out. And then the PTSD, I'm glad you're taking responsibility for that and that you're getting help for that. And that I think there needs to be, the owning of your part and asking her to own her part. And then how do we move forward? I mean, whether she's sincere or not, or just doesn't want the financial burden, you have children. And, best case scenario is that you guys do the work, mend the relationship, make the necessary changes so that you can continue being a family. Because divorce creates its own issues, and it kind of freezes in time the problems that then linger. So it's like a lateral move that doesn't improve everything.
Any ideas for a book resource from newlife.com?
Yeah, if he doesn't already have boundaries, I would recommend boundaries. I think
Okay.
that would be helpful in terms of whichever way the marriage goes, whether it goes to divorce or restoration, there is going to be a need to understand and establish boundaries in the relationship.
Do we have boundaries in marriage?
No.
Okay.
We have boundaries, but we will send
There's
that
also
to you.
a boundaries in marriage.
Okay.
That's good.
All right. Vic, thank you for calling in today here on New Life Live. And now let's talk to Joy in Conway, New Hampshire, listening on Sirius XM channel 131. Hi there, Joy.
Hi.
Hi. How can we help you today?
So I'm looking for just kind of some next steps or what to do about a situation that we've found ourselves in. So I found out that my 16-year-old daughter, who has a cell phone, has sent inappropriate pictures to the boy that she was having conversations with. So I had a conversation with her, just asking her about it to begin with, because I found out about it from the boy's mom, because she found him on his phone. So anyway, I had a conversation with her. She explained it. She's like, I know it's wrong. I'll take the consequences, whatever. And then I had a conversation like, how did this come about, things like that. So the thing that we've done is we've blocked her phone. We've restricted her access. She only has 2 hours a day where she's allowed to have the phone, and she's usually, supervised when she's on it. Like, she can't have it in her room, whatever. I'm looking for more information on what do we go from here? I think she was very much involved. She really liked him. She thought he liked her. He lied to her. She's very upset about it, the whole thing. But I just don't know how to help her know, what to do, what not to do. I'm just how did we get here? Kind of thing. I'm not. I understand where she's coming from. I know why she did it. I don't think she knows the fallout from it.
Right. So she's a little naive, is what you're saying?
Very, I think.
Yeah. So
and I feel like I failed her in that. And
so Joy,
I just don't know.
I know. And that's hard. And those are feelings that you can share with her dad or with your friends. But in terms of right now, you need to not fail her. Right? And I'm not sure you failed her because we can't control every variable in our kids' lives. But this is something that she's dealing with, and stepping up as a mom is important. So you're curbing the behavior because she doesn't seem to understand the right and wrong of it, or
well, she said she knew it was wrong, and she held
but she
out,
still did it.
And she caved. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that's good that there's consequences around that. But more importantly is the question you're asking, how did we get here? And what is her understanding of relationships? And what is her ability to say no, or to not succumb to people pleasing or pressure?
Right.
Or sometimes when someone likes us, it's like a spell comes over us, and then we give all our power away. And so she's doing that as a girl. And so I think those are important conversations, as well as maybe maybe you have her go to therapy to talk about this. Let's do some learning and growing in the areas of relationships. And it's really common for young girls to not have a voice. And she needs to start having more of her own voice. Right.
How do I help her do that? Because she said that to me. She's like, I don't know, Mom. She's like, I don't know why I'm such a people pleaser, but I want everybody to like me. And I see that in her, but I don't know how to help her understand.
Right. So what is she?
Value.
Right. What is she afraid of? If she says no, if she doesn't do what people want, if she doesn't answer a question that's asked of her, then will people not like her? And that fear can be so great. And sometimes it's like our kids' temperament. They're just more timid. Sometimes there's something maybe earlier on in life that caused her to feel like she couldn't speak up. But this is where you're at with her. So it's really important that she learn those assertiveness skills.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Would How We Love Our
Can
Kids
I-
be a good resource, you think?
Sure.
Or-
For Joy.
So,
Yeah.
can I also add, it's so often that our good hearts get us into trouble.
Yes.
And so what I would encourage you, Joy, is to share with your daughter that what she desires in terms of wanting to please people, that's a good desire. It's a good desire that we want people to like us. We want to be accepted. We want to be desired. And in this particular case, to have that romantic feeling, that romantic desire that somebody else on the planet wants me, desires me, finds me attractive. Those are good things that are built into us by our loving Father. Okay? It's just that sometimes our good hearts take us away from God and away from healthy interactions. And so what we don't want to do is shame her. Oh, I can't believe you did this. And why are you... Yeah, and especially we don't want to jump on the train of, you're right, you are a people pleaser, and because she's already feeling shame for that. Right. So, but to instead come alongside and say, of course it feels good when people like us. And of course we have that desire. What we don't want to do is let that desire that other people like us and accept us and find us attractive. We don't want to let that take control of our decisions. It's a good desire, but we keep it subservient to my command to trust God. And so going back to Jill's point, right? Like when I'm so afraid that someone won't like me if I say no, or I'm so afraid that someone won't like me if I don't go along with whatever it is that they want to do, I'm letting them be in control of my life rather than God being in control, and letting them define who I am, rather than letting God define who I am. So I want to be able to look at that, understand, honor the desire, but not let the desire take control where it's taking me to places that are unhealthy in my relationships.
And then I think you can also practice with her, Joy. Set up scenarios where you can kind of role play and help her practice to say no or to have her own opinion. And instead of just talking at her, you want her to start articulating more. Like you said, you knew it was wrong. So let's talk this through and let her articulate, because that's how we learn.
While she's practicing, you can be the bad guy. I let my kids do this. Like, look, if it's hard for you to say no, you can just say, my parents won't let me.
Yep.
Very true. Joy, thank you for calling in today. We're going to send you a copy of the book, How We Love Our Kids. And then, Anna, we're going to talk to you when we come back from the break here on New Life Live. And don't forget, we have a matching gift going on right now. We have helped so many hurting people today and all this week here on New Life Live. We want to help more. So if you can come alongside us, that'd be great. Go to newlife.com.
Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learn a lot from your program.
You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. Or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource, or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Really quick, let me just finish my thoughts about the matching gift that we've got going on right now, up to $500,000. We're hoping to reach that goal by the end of this month so that we can continue helping hurting people connect with transformational resources that can have an impact on future generations. Things truly change in families when addictions get broken, when relationships get healed. We thank you for your generosity. NewLife.com is one way to give. You can also call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or text the word match to 28950. And thank you to those of you who have already given. We're more than halfway to our goal already, but we can make it. We know we can by the end of this month, if you can help us. Back to the phones. Here is Anna, or is it Anna, from Washington, D.C. Welcome to the program, Anna.
Thank you. My question is, my son, who is 20 years old, he's away at college, claims to be non-binary, and he's been going through this for maybe about 4 years now. Had no evidence of this all through his childhood, but just at about, 16, started wanting to dress more femininely, says that he's non-binary. He's not interested in surgery or hormones. But my question is, based on your experience or research, do you see many boys move out of this in their later 20s or even after that? I know based on our research, we've seen that girls maybe move out of it more than boys. And then my secondary question is there anything as parents that we can do to help him move away from this lifestyle? We have a really good relationship with him. We talk to him a lot. He has a good relationship with his siblings. He knows that none of us approve of this, but I'm just trying to figure out, as parents, how can he doesn't want to move away from it, but is there anything we can do to help him move away from it?
What do you guys think?
Well, Anna, it's certainly a time of dealing with his identity. And you say since about 16, and he's 20 now. So these are the years where kids are, trying on different personas and trying to figure out who they are. I was commenting earlier that it's not been around at the forefront long enough for us to really have all of the data on, how many people move out of it or not. But sometimes it's a stepping stone to further deciding who they are. And certainly, yes, some people move away from it, and some people then, are more committed in one direction or another in terms of not just staying non-binary. And certainly in the college years, there's a lot of support for this. So it's not something where kids are alienated for anymore. And if anything, it's kind of a novelty. And I wonder in terms, because I know in terms of personal relationships, does your son you're telling me he has good family relationships. Is he a kid that fits in with others? Has he had good friends? Does he feel accepted?
I would say yes. He's involved in a lot of activities at his school that are unrelated to this gender thing, Model UN and other things. And so, yeah, I'd say he has a lot of close friendships, and and close family relationships. So that's all very positive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's getting straight A's, he's a good student. But of course, this big piece, not following the Lord and the gender part is, of course, you know, the big, huge, obviously, concerns as parents. And we just feel like we don't know, you know, how we can.
So there's a balance here between, you know, of course you have to address it. Of course, there needs to be discussions. And again, allowing him to articulate how he feels, how he sees it, how he sees himself, but not making it the only topic. Right. That continuing to really love him and support him, care for him, and making it like a side issue instead of it's the only issue about him. Because either it's really a novelty for him and he gets a lot of secondary gain from it, or he's very, you know, confused internally. And so even though he's doing well in so many arenas, I think it's important to, you know, have the conversations, but then also it's not the only thing in your life. That's not who you are, right? That's not your identity. That's just this thing that you're doing over here. And we know who you are as our son. And there's a lot of other things that define him. And then you're saying that to us that he is okay with this. This is not like he sees this as a problem. Is that correct?
Exactly. He's not struggling at all.
Okay. Okay.
Right. JJ, got about 1 minute or so.
Yeah, I would just, I'm going to build on what Jill was saying. What you do to help him is to love him well. Just keep loving him. Don't make this the focal point of the relationship. If he wants to talk about it, or you want to ask questions and understand what he's thinking and feeling, more by all means do that. But as you already said, he already knows how you feel. He already knows what you believe. And so it's not necessary to keep reiterating that this is wrong and this isn't the way God designed you and blah, right? It's instead to just continue to focus on, you're my child. You will always be my child, no matter what. We will disagree on things, but that doesn't change my love for you. And that's what I want to emphasize over and over and over. And while we don't have good longitudinal research on whether or not males eventually come out of this non-binary identity crisis, what we do see over and over in the research is when you love a child well and you provide them that safe place to land, they're much more likely to land with you once they've created a more solid identity for themselves.
Okay.
Should we send Anna a copy of Doing Life with Your Adult Kids?
Yes.
Okay, Anna, stay on the phone and we will send that out to you. Thank you so much for calling in. And we're so glad that you have a good relationship with your son.
Yes.
It is God's kindness that leads us all to repentance. So we hope that that's the case with your son as well. JJ West, we've got a Every Man's Battle intensive happening June 6th in Denver, Colorado.
Denver, Colorado.
Yes, you can register by May 23rd to get some savings on the registration, but we've only got a little bit of time left. But how is it that Every Man's Battle is the first step towards freedom for men?
Because it's the safe place for them to be themselves and to be honest about themselves. It's a safe place to come and look at what's led them into the addiction cycle, which that alone is what gets us out of the addiction cycle, is being able to, instead of covering it with shame and hiding, it's instead now I'm being drawn into authentic relationship with God and with myself and with others in a way that leads to healing.
All right, and you can find out more about the Every Man's Battle Intensive at newlife.com. It's a great place for you guys who you know you're doing wrong. You need to fix this. You need to save your family. You can at this Every Man's Battle Intensive happening in June in Denver. All the details at newlife.com. Jill, were you going to add something?
Oh, I'm intently listening to you. I know.
It looked like you wanted to add something.
Okay, I will add for Anna.
What more do you want to tell us about Every Man's Battle, Brian? This is great.
No, I know we don't always tout other people's work, but I think for parents struggling with this kind of thing, looking into Preston Sprinkle's work, and he has a book, Embodied, that that we don't offer, but that's
something.
He's done a lot of work in those areas. So
Anna can look that up online and get a copy of that. So very good. Thank you all for joining us today on New Life Live. We'll be back next week, and we'll be ready to answer the questions that you have about the struggles that you're going through. And we pray that you have no struggles, but we know that the Christian life is not without struggles, and we are here to help you Monday through Friday at New Life Live. And happy Mother's Day, Jill, and everyone listening right now. God bless you guys, and we can't wait to be on with you again next week. But in the meantime, visit our website, newlife.com. Lots of great resources there, and check out our video library too. See you next time.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.